What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Nani Network. I'm Eli, and I'm here with Shay, and today we are going to be breaking out a new type of episode. This episode is going to be a versus battle. During these versus battle episodes, we are going to be discussing various characters, 2 to 3. It could be kingdoms, it could be basically anything that could be pit against each other. We'll be breaking down them by categories and seeing who would win in a fight, which is better, or just our opinions on those two when they're pitted against each other. So today we're going to be starting with Boruto and Gohan.
Let the games begin!
In our anime FAQ episode 4, that was one of our questions, Boruto or Gohan, who would we choose? And actually on Instagram, it was actually a pretty decent debate online on who would win or who we prefer and what reasons. So we thought it'd be really cool to have these guys be our first versus episode. So firstly, we're going to start off with these characters' backstory. Shay, you want to lead them off with Boruto?
Sure can. So Boruto Uzumaki, as many of you may already know, is the son of Naruto Uzumaki and Hinata Hyuga. He was born and bred in the Leaf Village, or the new and improved Leaf Village, as we see. Yes. So Boruto is very much a product of his surroundings, upbringings, shall we say. The Great Ninja War ended about 2 decades before Boruto was born. So what we see in the kids growing up in the new Leaf Village is that they just have a lot more, free time?
Yeah.
Free time and just also like a sense of peace because they're not at war. They don't have to train to be shinobis. It's still a ninja.
Well, there's more
village.
of an option. Yeah, there's more of an option. Even though they still went to the academy and most of them want to be shinobis, the need for child soldiers like there once was isn't there. They do go on missions and there is still a lot going on because, Naruto left cliffhangers and people are still trying to learn about these Otsutsuki clan and what the fuck is going on with these people invading the space. So, so they're doing a lot of, recon missions, trying to get information. Sasuke hasn't been to the village in a decade, seen his daughter.
Daddy, hi Daddy, Mom, where's Daddy?
Because he's...
he pops in.
Girl, he don't even know him. He's like, Mama, why you stay with him?
Honestly,
hilarious.
Good question, sis. But point being is that, the kids have a lot more options. You can be a blacksmith if you want to. But obviously, I'm pretty sure probably hearing the worst stories of their parents' heydays, before you motherfuckers came around. It's something that they admire in their parents. And that's why a lot of them also do still, like Elijah mentioned, choose the path of ninjadom.
Mm-hmm. So
that's what we see with Boruto, but of course, again, because he didn't have the harsh upbringings of his dad, in the time that he was brought up and also his backstory, which we're not going to get into, Boruto experiences a lot more freedom. He has a very open, joking, what I want to call him something.
What do you want to call him?
A punk, really, is what I want to call him.
Well, so was his dad.
He was, but he had reason to be.
So does Boruto.
Does he?
The same exact reason.
What is the same exact reason?
I'm being neglected and ignored.
His parents were dead.
No.
Their parents have a job.
All right, Boruto's being ignored. And he just wants his father's attention like any other growing boy. Okay? So please continue with the boy's backstory.
I just want to point out, obviously, as we see in the show, children thrive from neglect, but that's neither.
Holy shit. Not I prefer them in war times.
But just circling back to Boruto, as I guess is tradition in these ninja villages, at the age of 12, which is where we meet Boruto, he enrolls in the Ninja Academy where he gets put on Konohamaru's team, with Sarada and Mitsuki, who are the offspring of, it's not their backstory. He's with them. And contrary to his dad, Boruto is very intelligent. He just doesn't he doesn't like putting in effort. He's very Shikamaru-esque.
Right.
So we have a lot of these.
Was a dumbass.
As a child, he was an ass as a child, but he has made leaps and bounds in improvement as an adult. He put both his shoes on one foot at a time.
That's the girl who doesn't like watching Boruto.
I watch Boruto for Naruto, and I can see that Naruto has
You are
matured.
so proud of him.
I am. He look at him not wearing that. Even the orange of his sweater or whatever, it's even more mature. It's a more robust
It's
orange.
more of a roasted orange.
Yes, like a pumpkin spice
It's
orange.
very fall. Nah.
When he was a kid, that fucking
Obnoxious orange.
eyesore. When Sasuke handed it to him, I said, "Egads, you disaster." But back to Boruto. On Team 7, Sarada Mitsuki, Konohamaru. Boom. So Boruto is also a relatively skilled ninja. Okay, that's downplaying it. He's a skilled ninja.
Yeah, like he
age.
actually is adept at learning and actually performing new jutsu. Like, unlike his father, he was able to perform the Shadow Clone Jutsu and produce 4 clones off rip. That's his max right now, but using the gauge of Naruto and the person we followed using this jutsu, like he's already ahead of the game. He could already use like different chakra natures. Like he could use electricity, he could use wind, he could use water, and he's just really adept at it. But that's kind of what we see with throughout the entire generation, even though it's not their backstory. Like, you know, the kids, you know, the parents were actually home this time, I guess. I don't know. With the kids training them, and these kids are actually all really fucking gifted at using jutsu.
I think a part of that is exceptional breeding, like when you think about it. Like, okay, as cringy as it sounds, like Boruto is a product of not like your dad is Naruto. You had no choice but to be great, but then your mother is also Hinata Hyuga of the Byakugan, right? Of the Hyuga clan.
Exactly.
So like I know he probably had exceptional like, you know, schooling prior to starting the Ninja Academy, and then you have good bones.
Yeah, and you're the Hokage's son, you know?
And you're the Hokage's son. And the same thing with Sarada. Your mother is Sakura, who has exceptional chakra control, and your dad is Sasuke.
Right.
Like, period.
You don't have any choice. And they knew what they was doing when they put that fucking team together.
It's the same for a lot of these kids, but, you know, especially with Boruto, we see where, like, his breeding really comes into place.
Good breeding.
We see where the genetics, you know, showed up and showed out, especially with this kid. And we especially see how the combination of these skills really builds Boruto's fighting style. As we see from the beginning, if you watch the Boruto movie, he was a semi-key factor in them being able to defeat Momoshiki. He mastered his father's Rasengan, which we saw how hard that was for Naruto to master. He was even able to put his own spin on it. And as Elijah mentioned, he is able to control several different chakra types. And this is all while still being 12 and not being in a life or death world, right? Because, well, they got their own share of fuck shit, but it's not, like Elijah said again.
Just being in peace times.
Yes.
In general peace times.
Yes.
You know, Naruto and them, like all the Hokage, they're now friends. All the different Kage, I mean.
Right, because
they're all friends. No people are warring. No nations are warring.
Right.
But there are still, like, you know, small pieces of fuck shit, like Akatsukis, basically, around there stirring, doing fuck shit.
But if I am correct, it's like a lot of the antagonists that they have in Boruto aren't even like human.
Yeah. Like, people, it's weird, you know, where it's a product of where Naruto left off, where, what was it, the Zetsus, the white Zetsus, like, they're using those genes, or like, there's just a lot of things lying around.
A lot of clones. Literally, it's like a lot of shit that y'all did not put a bow on. Like, not the series itself, but like the characters in the show. Just like once the war was like, once Madara and Kaguya and everybody else was defeated, y'all was just like,
yeah.
like, no, y'all got about 17 things that y'all really need to go check
Finish
out.
up on.
That's why y'all got a fucking village of Shin that y'all thought Orochimaru was a good parent for. Like, that shit don't make no sense to me. But again, it's just we see Naruto taking that Boruto taking a very supernatural turn, in that a lot of their antagonists are these supernatural beings
and just overpowered
for the Naruto universe.
Yeah, we're just, I think they're gonna push Boruto past that like god limit that Naruto and Sasuke got to, because now we're fighting the Otsutsuki clan, and the Otsutsukis are related to Kaguya, who is said to have this god strength. So now those are the people who are coming after him, and he has a sort of link from fighting Momoshiki. He received a brand on his palm, which we don't exactly know what it means yet, but it has a link to the Otsutsuki clan, and I think it's going to be his link to his power of the Jugon, but we don't know.
And last but not least, to mention about Boruto is that Sasuke is his mentor. Again, weird. Y'all are picking these weird people to mold the next generation. Orochimaru and Sasuke. Y'all want them to be, you know, the faces of leave no child left behind.
They didn't pick him, man. Boruto asked him, and he was like, guess.
He did. But watching their relationship in of itself is very interesting. You know, Sasuke wasn't there when Naruto was a kid, and now we see, even though Naruto and Boruto do have their like these fundamental personality differences, they are still one and the same.
Mm-hmm. It's like Sasuke's there for Naruto's kid in the way that Naruto refuses to be, basically.
And also in a way that he wasn't for Naruto himself as a kid, right? You know, as self-proclaimed best friends. It's to me, it's just like filling in the blank from like what it would have been like if Sasuke were to remain in the village, you know, and him and Naruto were to train together and help and, you know, build that strength and build that bond. So it's many different aspects to the relationship. It is very interesting to watch unfold. And it's just another factor that's going to contribute to Boruto being that much stronger, right? Mm-hmm. We already talked about his breeding, and now we see the importance that mentors play in the Naruto universe. Like,
exactly. Sasuke was the one who identified that his Rasengan turned invisible. Because Boruto thought like he just wasn't able to do it. But no, Sasuke stayed around and he saw that no, because of your chakra nature, it turns the Rasengan invisible, but it still does land and impact. And it's a useful fucking tool. And he's just going to take him to the next level. Mm-hmm. So that relationship is important.
Yep. So that's all I have for Boruto.
Nice. Next, we're going to give you the backstory for Gohan. Gohan, as the world should know, is the son of Goku in the Dragon Ball series. Goku and Chi-Chi, you know, got to give love to the mamas. We basically follow Gohan throughout his entire life. Unlike Boruto, we met Gohan when he was about 4 years old, and now he's a grown-ass man with a daughter. So we first meet Gohan. He's this little boy, futz of a boy. He's a half-breed Saiyan. We know the Dragon Ball universe is surrounded around the Saiyans. He's a half-breed Saiyan who's super calm and cute little boy, but who has a temper. And when he gets angry, that's when his power really flares up. And we get hints of that all throughout the Dragon Ball series. But Chi-Chi, his mom, ultimately wants him to become a scholar. Which is like tacky.
She's like such a Caribbean parent.
Pick up a book, stop, watch cartoon.
Like literally, like everybody, she's like, okay, yeah. He's like, Mom, I just beat this guy's ass. It's like, okay, copy. Well, go study.
A doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, you're a failure.
It don't matter. But Gohan, of course, being the son of Goku and going through all the trials and tribulations that Goku, he went through a lot of those shits like with him. Like you just brought your fucking son along,
and also witnessed a lot of trauma. Like, didn't he see Goku die a couple times?
Yeah, you know, like he's been through a lot. But so some of the things that he's been through, like when the Saiyans first came to Earth, he's the one who was able to take out Raditz, or at least subdue him long enough that his dad could regain his energy and Piccolo and him could do that fire combo attack.
Right, and that's you challenging a full-grown Saiyan.
A full-grown Saiyan who's been traveling the world fighting.
And
you know?
starting shit, being an upstart.
Exactly. You know, I think he got like knocked away and like put out. And then again, in the Planet Namek saga, he was one of the key people fighting the Ginyu Force. Even though he was a little boy getting his ass beat, since he was trained by Piccolo, his mentor, he was able to hold his own. That's another key thing to mention about his backstory. Gohan was basically raised and trained by Piccolo, who is like the resident badass of the series. Mm-hmm. I think everyone has like a space in their heart for Piccolo, even though he's not the most powerful guy. Like the Dragon Ball series would not be the same without fucking Piccolo, because he gave us Gohan, literally.
Yeah.
As he is. Gohan literally wore clothes mimicking him, and he pays tribute to his mentor. Like, you know, Goku, the reason why he wears the turtle insignia and the orange jumpsuit is to pay tribute to Master Roshi. So when he goes out to battle, he chooses to wear the turban and the
purple
plates,
jumpsuit?
the purple jumpsuit, just like Piccolo, because that's his mentor. He trained under him. So that just shows that he has a different fighting style than his father, and it's pretty fucking unique. And it's with that power that he is actually able to hold his own, not only hold his own, but save Krillin. Well, for a little bit when they're fighting the Ginyu Force. Later on, in preparation to fight Cell, he goes into the hyperbolic time chamber with his father. If you don't know the hyperbolic time chamber, it is a chamber where time moves differently. I think an hour in there is the equivalent to a year in human time. Mm-hmm. So he goes into that chamber, and the entire time he's training with his father, Gohan. It's in there that he's not only able to achieve Super Saiyan 1, but that's where Goku sees the the glimpses
The potential.
of the potential of Super Saiyan 2 or a new form coming about, because he sees that when Gohan is really tried or is at his wit's end and he's really poked at and he loses control of his anger, he could potentially unlock something deeper within himself. And that's where we kind of get the truth that Saiyans, or we really see the truth that Saiyans, after every battle, after every near-death battle or fighting experience, they overall get stronger. So Goku says, okay, well, here's this little boy who's been fighting since he was 4 years old, traveling to all these planets with us. He technically should be more powerful than all of us. And so he puts that and banks it, and that's where we see this iconic moment of Gohan defeating and fucking up Cell. After this, Gohan kind of takes a real back seat from the martial arts world. His father actually dies during the Cell Saga, so he's just living with his mom, and of course, living and respecting with your mom like a nice boy should. He became a scholar, he went to school. Even though he became a vigilante on the side, he kind of gave up martial arts and wasn't actively practicing and training in ways that we see, you know, Vegeta or Trunks or like, you know, other people would be actively training throughout calm times. Just because we're not in a war or fighting for our lives doesn't mean we shouldn't be training up and keeping our strength up.
But I guess like the people who would have inspired him or motivated him to do that were like dead now, right? Because didn't Piccolo die at this point?
No, Piccolo was still there.
Piccolo was still
Yeah,
alive?
Piccolo was still there. He didn't want to train. He wasn't allowed to. Chi-Chi would not let him, but he didn't put the effort in. Like, you could sneak out and teach Videl how to fucking fly, but, you know, you didn't make that effort to be like, yo, this is what I want to do. Pay some respects to your father, bro. He died because you fucked up.
Not for nothing, though, because, like, when he was a baby, Chi-Chi and Goku were always, like, I don't want to say at odds, but they had, like, a different... They both had different wants for what Gohan should be.
Goku wanted him to be a fighter. Chi-Chi wanted him to be a thing.
Exactly. So like now that Goku's dead, like I could raise my kid how like I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah, I know. But when Goku died, it's like, you know, he was like 13 or 14 years old. It's like, okay, you've been 14 years fighting, going to beating up aliens, killing aliens, and then now it's like, oh, your mom could just come in and say, you gotta be a scholar.
Yeah, Mom, let's go.
But what happened? Where is my sweet little Gohan?
I'm right here, Mom.
Are you gonna forget about all of that? That didn't inspire you? I don't know.
Well,
Let me save my qualms
like,
with Gohan.
not forget, because like you said, like he didn't completely leave it alone. Like he was still, like you said, doing his vigilante thing. That's when he picked the Sandman mantle.
But he wasn't training. He was like fighting humans. Well, after fighting Frieza, what's kicking somebody on the streets' ass? You know, he wasn't doing any real training. But, you know, that leads him to meet Videl, who later becomes his wife. During the Buu Saga, he had an awakening, basically. One of the Supreme Kais was able to sit with him and awaken his inner potential, which gave Gohan access to majority of his power without him even having to go Super Saiyan. Even though he was still easily defeated by King Buu, it was a really cool power-up for him. But still, like, especially after not seeing Gohan train so much, but it was the reason why it was so much that he didn't train. That was the reason why they needed to sit him down for like 20 episodes and have his fucking power awakened while everyone's getting their ass whooped, because he still did have that inner potential from all his past experiences. He just couldn't access it because he didn't have the ability. Lastly, Gohan is a professor. He's a full adult now. He has a wife and a child, and he's a professor. He fully does not practice fighting anymore, and that's where we kind of leave him at. He does come out now that Dragon Ball Super has become a thing, but, you know, that's like, you know, Goku had to go and recruit people for the Tournament of Power. So he said, okay, I know my son is a Saiyan, and he is one of the most powerful people on Earth, period, regardless of him being a fucking teacher. So he was recruited, and we got to see him form some nice combo moves with Piccolo and just get some more Gohan love, because we really don't get to see him in action like that anymore. We don't get to see anyone besides Goku and Vegeta really in action,
which is disappointing.
Yeah, and that's what the Tournament of Power got to do. We really got to see all our favorite characters pop back up again. So that's where we leave Gohan. He made it pretty far in the Tournament of Power. I was proud of him, but that's all she wrote. That is the backstory and get down when it comes to Gohan. Next, we're going to be discussing these characters' powers and abilities. We're going to be knocking it out side by side and seeing what these guys can do. First up, we're going to talk about the power source. Gohan's power source is Ki. In the Dragon Ball universe, they use Ki as their main power source, and that is what gives them all the abilities to produce various chakra blasts, and everyone's able to make it their own. In the Boruto or Naruto universe, they use chakra. Chakra is what gives these guys access to the different chakra natures, as well as various jutsus unique to the clan that you're a part of. But, you know, the options are unlimited with that one.
Under powers and abilities, we have each character's signature moves. So Gohan has the ability to unlock Super Saiyan, and as many of you already probably know, once you reach Super Saiyan, it vastly increase your speed, strength, and energy output.
Right. He could also become a Super Saiyan who's ascended, aka Super Saiyan 2, which I forget, but there's like increments by which they've broken down how much their base is multiplied by with each of these. So I think Super Saiyan 2 is like their base strength times 100 versus Super Saiyan 1 being your base strength times 50. So he was the first person we saw to use Super Saiyan 2.
This is a Super Saiyan. And this is what is known as a Super Saiyan that has ascended past a Super Saiyan. Or you could just call this a Super Saiyan 2.
Next we have the Kamehameha.
Yes.
Blast. Which is an energy blast that was taught to Goku by his master.
Sensei, yeah, Master Roshi.
By his master, Master Roshi, and was then passed down to Gohan. So super powerful, obviously super deadly in the hands
it's like the signature move of the fucking series.
It is, but it's way more intimidating when wielded or used by Goku or Gohan, like as compared to like
Krillin.
I didn't want to say it.
As compared to fucking Krillin.
But
like,
yes. He tries. And he's a human.
I guess. Next we have, he has various other abilities such as, you know, superhuman strength, superhuman speed.
In his regular,
because he is half alien. He's half, he's not of this world. So everything is, you know, amplified on him. I'm pretty sure he could even, like, see pretty far. He has better eyesight than
the way
us.
I always thought about them was, like, comparable to, like, Superman. Just
yeah, you know.
Next the heat
Sun,
vision.
the heat vision and like all the extra shit.
Yeah.
But like they just have all these abilities and they're just way stronger than us naturally. And honorable mention as an ability that all Saiyans do have is he once was able to turn to a great ape. Every Saiyan is born with a tail, and when shine under the light of a full moon, if you stare directly at it, you lose full control and you become a giant rampaging ape with the strength of like, you know, crazy,
intense.
many
and
men.
Your ki blasts are also a lot stronger. And I think it's fire too. They can not spit fire, but well, I guess they are spitting fire out of their mouths, and it's
their ki blasts come out of their mouths.
But they said they can also like spit fire. Or
that's disgusting.
Yeah,
that makes no sense. Why would they be spitting fire?
It's weird, but or it's like the ki blast transforms into fire. Something about fire coming out of the monkey's mouth.
But that wraps up Gohan's powers and abilities. Next up, we're gonna go and break down Boruto.
So Boruto, being in the ninja-centered world of Naruto, has, you know, all your typical makings of a ninja. So he has stealth, reflexes,
with the Naruto speed, like that we see how they be shifted into those fucking trees, like, and it seems like they vanish. And he just has all the workings to be like a successful ninja.
Mm-hmm. Like, and that's just like with the basic skill sets that a ninja should possess, right? Then obviously building on that, because they utilize chakra and they have jutsus, he is working on creating, you know, his repertoire of moves. We see he's already put a spin on the Rasengan that was not his father's, but
his grandfather's.
Yes. And we also see that, you know, he's able to learn advanced moves for a Genin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, definitely for a Genin, because he's over here doing, world-saving missions, and
he's like mastered the use of the shadow clone jutsu. He's able to he's come up with various signature moves for himself. Like I think it's like the Boruto dash or the Boruto bolt, where he's able to use his chakra control to propel himself forward using his 2 different chakra natures. And that's something that came later in freaking Naruto, when he was learning, he was preparing to defeat the Akatsuki, and he had to come up with his own move, and only then did he find out that his chakra nature was wind. So here comes this boy, he just graduated the Ninja Academy, and he already has full use of 2 separate chakra natures, and we've seen him use another. It's kind of like fucking crazy.
You know what it reminds me of? Like the phase that Boruto is in right now. It reminds me of the gap between Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, when everyone went with their respective senseis and had that training period and really bulked up for.
How so? How does it remind you of that?
Because that's what he's doing, right? All of this training that he's doing right now, it's very concentrated. He doesn't really have anything distracting him from getting stronger, and he has a consistent mentor. Outside of just his schooling and his studies.
Sasuke mentored him 1 week and then went back and then left again. But
I mean, they went on that cute little field trip. Since this man hasn't seen his daughter for 12 years, I would say a week of anything from Sasuke.
Naruto took a trip for years with Jiraiya and came back a teenager.
I thought it was 1 year. Oh. No, it was 4 years.
Yeah, he went on a trip for years with Jiraiya. He said Boruto's 1 fucking week with Sasuke.
Years? I thought it was 1 year.
I don't know if it was 4 years, but I know it was more than 1 year that he was with Jiraiya and then came back. But okay.
Point is, he got a little, a little sensei now outside of Konohamaru.
And one thing Boruto don't have is a consistent fucking mentor. He don't got a father or a fucking sensei.
Yes, he does.
And Konohamaru should not be teaching kids. But that's neither here nor there. Next, Boruto has access to...
You put some respect on Konohamaru's name.
Boruto has access to the Jugon, but it's limited access. It is this new peculiar eye that he has. So far, we've seen it identify, evil spirits or evil chakra, and he's also able to see the pockets of dimensions and people who are trying to enter through a separate dimension. He's able to identify those rifts and know where and when they're coming from,
which is a pretty badass ability.
Yeah, it was super cool when I saw it, and it was super cool to finally see him using that fucking eye for something. Next up, Gohan, Boruto uses his father's move, the Rasengan, and he put his spin on that. And he also has access to multiple chakra natures, being wind, electricity, and water.
Earth, wind, fire, and air.
So, pretty cool powers and abilities for these guys. That wraps up these power and ability segment.
Next, let's roll on into character weaknesses. Now, when you have characters like these, they are prodigies. That's what they are. They're prodigies. They're sons of the greatest fighters in their respective universes. So you have no choice but to be great, but you have to have a kink in your armor, because you can't be perfect off rip. It doesn't make for an entertaining storyline.
Yeah, and their fathers, even as adults, still have fucking weaknesses and flaws. So we all do, child.
I think Naruto's an angel baby, but
how do we know?
But let's get into it. For Gohan, we see one of his biggest weaknesses as being his empathy, and I would say his lack of motivation. I mean, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Which I guess it wasn't for him, but to me, the way he pops in and pops out like will I, won't I be a hero type thing. It's okay, if you're gonna commit to it, put the work in or put the effort in. I feel like he just got to a point where he was comfortable in where he was and what he was. And he said, I don't need nothing after this.
I think he just listened to Chi-Chi. But
he's a mama's boy.
Yeah, he just listened to Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi ran the house when Goku was gone. He just listened to his mom. I think
Chi-Chi ran the house
especially
when Goku
culturally,
was there.
I know you don't rebel from what a parent says, so he just listened to his mama. But his empathy is one of Gohan's biggest weaknesses. It's actually been his weakness throughout the entire Dragon Ball series. They blatantly said that he doesn't have that fighter spirit like his father, and his father actually wanted him to. We saw the reason why he was was able to trigger Super Saiyan 2 and ascend to Super Saiyan 2 is because Android 16's head was crushed. You know, he has empathy for people who were just trying to kill you. Like, they were just trying to, like, suck and absorb and, like, fuck up everything. And now this android, because he gave you a nice speech, you have such empathy.
I know how you feel, Gohan. You are gentle. You do not like to hurt. I know because I, too, have learned these feelings.
That it caused you to lose blinding fucking control of yourself. On top of that
But he was still a kid when that happened, wasn't he?
Yeah, but on top of that aspect of the empathy, there's also the other side where even when Gohan is fighting Frieza's army or fighting somebody, and it is a life and death battle, he purposely pulls his punches.
That son of Goku could wipe out a 1,000-man army in an instant if he was so inclined. Watch him closely and you'll see his attacks are deliberately non-lethal. The boy has a soft heart.
And unless he can go into a blind rage like he did with Cell, he typically does not fight to kill or to even hurt you too bad. He's just trying to knock you out. And in a battle for the death, that is a huge fucking weakness. Next weakness for Gohan would be that he stopped training. One thing you know about a fighter, one thing you know if you track like MMA fighting, and one thing it is consistency. The one rule is definitely consistency. You can't just hop up and come to the bat, and once you start, you need to remain consistent with your training if you're going to remain proficient. So as it stands right now, Gohan officially stopped training, to me, after the Cell Saga, after his father left that household. So since he was like a 14-year-old boy until he's now an adult, Gohan has not been rigorously training. He said he was rusty and that he hadn't been training in Dragon Ball Super. When Gohan asked him to be a part of the tournament, he went to Piccolo so that he could get retrained, and Piccolo almost denied him. Piccolo almost said, take your ass home. He said, you haven't been doing it. Why are you doing this? He says, I have something to prove. So maybe we'll see him awaken back, but right now the fact that he has not trained for so long shows. And it's a major weakness.
To see him do something.
Come back. Like, be cool.
Especially since it was said that, like, I think he had, like, more potential than Goku.
Yeah, you're like the fucking prodigal son. And it's so sad to see that. You know, other than that, Gohan being out of practice, those are, like, his main weaknesses that he has. Next up,
Boruto.
Boruto's weaknesses are he charges into things head first. He doesn't really think. He actually is similar to his dad in that sense, where when he's in these situations, he just hops in. He doesn't really form a fucking plan.
Cut from the same cloth.
Like, hello, that's how you get your ass beat. But, you know, he charges in blind, and that pairs with his other weakness that we have listed here, which is that he lacks confidence. When he gets in these situations, we saw it when he was fighting Momoshiki, and we saw it a couple times when he's fighting other people who were more powerful than him. He gets to shaking in his boots.
It's a weakness right now, but I will also chalk some of that up to him being 12. Like, he's a kid, and a lot of these are his first battles, right?
You know, I watched a gaggle of 12-year-olds a couple years ago, and they seemed to do pretty fine on their own. They sprung into action.
Yes, but they were also... Are you talking about their parents?
Yes!
They were also moving in war times and accustomed to this. They probably heard gunshots outside their window. So
no, I'm just saying, for the person who talks as much hot shit as Boruto did talk, it was really, really, really surprising because like even all the other kids in his class, the kid whose dad is a fucking like millionaire who works in business, he's hopping in there and he's not getting scared when like shit's going down. But
Boruto's got
like,
really good insurance.
Oh God, I wonder if I'm powerful enough. This person's pretty powerful. That lack of confidence in battles is, you know, of course it'll get better over time, but that's super detrimental to him as of right now. Another weakness for Boruto is his limited use of the Jugon. We had this as one of his powers and abilities, which was like a pro, but the way he reacts, because he doesn't really know what it is, and even though he's tried to rope in some of the fucking adults, like, that didn't help, and he hasn't been able to figure it out. So whenever something new happens with the Jugon, he actually has to actively learn and figure out what the fuck is happening to him in that moment. And we saw that when he did it with the Dimension Rips. He was like, okay, well, what are these little pockets? And he had to notice, okay, this person's coming out of it, and this is what's happening. So him trying to actively learn in the moment, yes, he could have unlocked a new ability, but you learning it in the moment, especially going against a Saiyan, potentially, you know, in this versus... it's going to be detrimental. It's going to be a detriment to you more than it's actually fucking helping you. All it takes is like 0.2 seconds for you to lose in a battle. And you not being that, you know?
Yeah, I know a lot of like animes are really about learning on your toes.
Mm-hmm.
But this is his eye. Like
okay, like some shit just shifts. It's like, huh?
Yeah.
What am I looking at? And lastly, because we have to highlight, yes, Gohan's been around forever, but one of the major weaknesses of Boruto as it stands right now is his age. He is a young boy. At the end of the day, we saw it all the time with his father. Yes, you might have a whole lot of chakra and you might be powerful, but when you're going against people who are refined and people who does this, people who've been doing this for decades, it's not going to be an easy feat. And you're not going to be able to handle it on your own.
How dare you call me out for mansplaining when I literally said that same thing and you said, I'm sorry, I know a bunch of 12-year-olds who've been around that block before.
Oh, yeah, no, they've been around. That was for me to say they weren't shaking in their boots when it came time to fight. They would go and willingly get their ass beat. They would go knowing, like, okay, God, this guy's one of the 12 Akatsuki, but it's only me here, so I guess I'm going to have to fuck him up. Boruto would be like, yo, maybe I could run really, really fast in the opposite direction and burrow underground.
No, he's not that bad. He's not that bad.
Nah, he doesn't like it. And like, the way that Naruto won his friends over for being powerful, Boruto got his friends because like they see, I think, that he needs their support. Versus where Naruto, like, they realized they needed Naruto's support. Those other fuckers who shunned him. Periana. But that wraps up the weaknesses for Boruto. Next, we're going to put these characters head to head. It's basically going to be like our Lock That Bitch In, where we're going to say who we think individually would win in a head to head battle with these two. Shay, based off these, what do you think?
I'm going to say Gohan will win because he's a grown ass man. And Boruto's 12. And just to elaborate on that, like we were saying, Boruto doesn't have the field experience that Gohan has. Gohan's been fighting in war since he was 4. Right? So, again, for Boruto, he just doesn't have that experience yet. He's also in a younger, weaker body. And as we know from the Naruto universe, kids hold their own, right? Like, we saw a fucking, 8-year-old Itachi going around on, A-class and S-rank missions. So, it's not to say for lack of capability, but just lack of practice or just a need for it yet. But right now, where they both are in their respective series, Gohan would win. Okay.
I agree. I'm going to say that Gohan would win as it stands right now, but I don't think that Boruto's too far off from being able to clap Gohan. I say that only because of what it comes down to is training. We see it like Vegeta and Goku and even like other people who are practiced. Piccolo could even beat the shit out of Gohan right now. And that's because he's so out of practice.
A tournament with the 6th universe.
That's right. And we want you to be our 5th fighter.
But Dad, are you sure you don't want me?
I don't know what to say here.
So I think with Boruto actively learning and Boruto actively discovering new abilities and implementing them, I think he's not far off from being able to beat up Gohan as he stands now.
If Gohan
Teacher Gohan, if we're talking about Teen Gohan would mop the floor with Boruto so swiftly, and it would be very amazing to watch. But if we're talking about Mr. Professor Dad,
shut up,
or the Great Saiyaman, Boruto is not far off from being able to beat that guy's ass.
I would say obviously if Gohan remains stagnant and Boruto just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger, which I feel like he will. His fucking idol is Sasuke, so Yegads, that's the way that's gonna lead him. but he's gonna look for power. He's gonna seek power, and as we see from episode 1 of Boruto, he's gonna have to. So if he just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and it looks like they might keep Gohan stagnant, he will eventually surpass him.
Right. So I'm locking in that Gohan would win in the fight as it stands now, but let's give it a year, and I think that Boruto would clap him.
All right. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed our first versus battle.
Hey.
If you guys have any recommendations or any 2 characters, universes, shitty worlds that you'd like us to compare and talk about, please let us know. You can leave a comment for us on our Instagram at Official Nani Network. And as always, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Later, y'all.
Later.